What you just saw is a SaaS-style PayPal UI animation built entirely inside of Adobe After Effects, inspired by the amazing work of OS Starmy on YouTube with my own twist on the motion and design. In this video, I'm doing a complete step-by-step breakdown, no plugins, no shortcuts. Free project file is in the description down below, and let's get into it. Back in After Effects, so this whole animation consists of 4 scenes. Let's break it down each scene step by step. So let's mark up a point at scene 1, hit N, a shortcut key for this, and in and out point for the scene 1. Let's break it step by step how I made this scene 1 entirely in After Effects. So before that, let's hit Ctrl K to open the composition settings. And for the composition settings, the preset is set to a full HD 1920 by 1080 pixels, and the frame rate is 30 frames per second, and the duration is approximately 30 seconds, and the background color set to a white color. You can go with black color because we will apply the gradient ramp effect on that. Just hit OK. Now let's start with our first layer. For the first, the background layer is added. So for that, just add a solid layer. So just select this layer, go to layer and select the solid settings, and the same solid settings are exactly the composition settings as 1920 by 1080 full HD, and the background color is set to a white. Just hit OK and hit OK again, and on this just apply a simple gradient ramp effect. Just go to effect controls and you can see the gradient ramp effect. For the colors, I have chosen the exactly matching color for the color palette of PayPal, just a lighter version for this, and you can copy the exact same color code for this. Hit OK. The same as start color and the end color, but a little difference in that for the color code, the dark and the light version. And yeah, and after that just set the ramp shape to radial ramp, and just you have to animate the start of ramp and the end of ramp values. So at the beginning you can hit U to see the keyframes of this animation. Just drag this timeline over here, and at the beginning of the timeline make a keyframe on start and end ramp stopwatch, and you can see these small points over here. Just make a keyframe at the beginning, move to 2 seconds forward, something around, and just change the points, this point over here and change this point over that corner. Now again move few frames forward or few seconds forward, just tweak the points at their corners just like that, and move some frame forward again, and just like this make a complete rotation of these points, something like this. You can see the points are moving, and after that you don't have to animate keyframe at last because you have to give it a expression to loop it endlessly. Okay, so select your layer, hit E twice on your keyboard to see the expression, and you have to hold Alt click or Option if you are on a Mac. Just click on this start of ramp stopwatch and apply a simple expression as loop out open parenthesis and close parenthesis, and just like that right click on the start of ramp, copy expression only, and just select this end of ramp and hit Ctrl V to paste the exact expression, and it will endlessly loop out entire the composition, something like this. Okay, so you don't have to animate from start to end like noobs. Okay, so that's our background. Hit U to hide everything. Let's start with our next layer, which is our text layer. You can see the introducing the freelance friendly app. Type your text, any text according to your project, and after that hit U to see the keyframes. Firstly, the font we have to choose is just go to properties of this text, and for the font I have used as SF Pro Display, the best font I have ever seen. And for the style I have set it to bold, and the pixels or the size is set to 100 pixels. And for the animation I have applied a simple text animation from the Kuldeep and before pre-certified script. So just apply the words animation just like this, so it will come word by word, something like this. And the scale animation I have given it something like this. Hit U to see their keyframes. So at the beginning of the timeline make a keyframe on position and scale, and just like this set the scale at the highest to zoom in for the first word as introducing. So you have to make sure the entire edit, this word introducing is in the center of the composition at the beginning, and after that just make a keyframe on scale at the beginning with the highest scale value to match the first introducing word in the center of the composition, because when the text animation starts, it starts with the main keyword as introducing. Okay, so at the beginning, make a keyframe on a scale and a position with the highest value as 350 I have set, and the position with the horizontal and vertical as 1030, and the y vertical is 540. And just move some frame forward, just set the scale value back to 100% and the position set to normal like this, and just apply easy ease. Select these keyframes, apply easy ease, and make a graph something like move fast at the beginning and get slower in the end. So you will get the animation something like this. Just tweak with the text animation preset keyframes according to the animation, how much you want fast to animate the text, and you will get the animation something like this. And after that, just move some frame forward, make a keyframe of opacity to end up this text something like this. You can see the text fits something like this. So move some frame forward, make a keyframe on opacity with a value of 100% and move something around before 4 seconds. Just decrease the opacity to 0%, select the keyframes, apply easy ease, and just make a super fast speed graph something like this. Okay, so you will get the text animation something like this. And after that, you can see the mockup of the phone coming like this. So I have made it separately. Let's hit U to hide the keyframes. Let's step to our next as precom. Just double click to open this precom. What you have to do, there are 2 layers. The first is the 3D model of an iPhone. So I have downloaded it from Sketchfab website. There are so many free models you can download from there. So I have downloaded the free iPhone version model GLB format. And the second, I have customly made the phone screen. You can see the PayPal screen I have customly made in After Effects from scratch, just like the button, the star text, the PayPal icon. And after that, just drag and drop this phone screen into this precom. You have to make the separate precom, just like I have made phone mockup. Just go to composition and make a separate composition with the values. Let's go to composition and see the composition settings, and you have to just make the custom width of 1179 pixels and height to 2556 pixels with the frame rate of exact like composition 30 frames per second, and you will get the screen exact ratio of the mobile screen something like this. And after that, just add a 3D model and add the custom screen you want to add. And just I have masked out the using the pen tool, just masked out the screen for the phone, and you will get the cutout effect something like this. And after that, just drag and drop the phone mockup precom into the main precom, and after that, just hit U to see the keyframes. Now add something around this frame, something around 1 second forward from the timeline. Firstly, just select the precom layer and make it as 3D, and after that, make a keyframe on position and X rotation and Y rotation. Firstly, just make a keyframe on position and Y rotation, and just set the values of Y rotation to -254, set the X rotation to 0, and you will get the exactly the Z position something like this. You have to make sure the phone model is in the center of the composition, and just like this, make a keyframe at the beginning and move some frame forward. Just set the Y rotation to 0 degree and set the position and X, Y and Z position something like this. So it will come from downwards. Set the Y position to out of the composition. So it will come from downwards, rotating something like this on the Y rotation, and it will show up the screen of the PayPal. Yeah, and after that, move some frame forward, make a keyframe on X rotation, set the value to 0 degree, move some frame forward, set the X rotation to -50. So it will set up something like this to the out of the screen. It will take a pause for a while, and at last set the Z position something like this. You can see the values, and just at last move some frame forward, set the Y rotation to 0, set the X rotation to -65, and you can adjust the Z position, Y position and X position something like this. So it will come rotating on the Y rotation, move for a while, and just get out of the composition something like this. And in between, something around at this frame where our X rotation comes, our text fades out. You can see the text fades out. So at this frame, select your text layer, hit U to see the keyframes, make a keyframe on opacity. Just like previous, I have already told with the value of 100%. And when our phone or 3D model gets in this position, you have to make sure at this frame, set the opacity to 0%. So our text basically fades out. and the model or the 3D model just appears in the position, and at last it gets out of the composition, something like this. Okay, so that's our scene. And after that, just select your keyframes, apply easy ease. So firstly, the position and the Y rotation keyframe, select your keyframes, hit F9 to apply easy ease, go to the speed graph editor and make a graph, something like this, where it starts with the super fast and gets to the slow. Again, it gets to fast and slower, and again it gets slower to fast at the end and end up something like this. And after that, just select last 3 keyframes, go to speed graph editor and make a graph something like this. So at the middle, something around here, it gets a pause. So select these keyframes, holding Alt or Option if you're on a Mac, click on these keyframes and you will get the keyframe velocity pop up. Just make sure to check the continuous log motion, and after that hit OK and go to speed graph editor, and at this point to select these values and just using the selection tool, just drag the points upwards little, so you will get the continuous motion in your 3D model, something like this. Let's see the preview. You will get that effect. So that's our scene 1. Yeah, so just select these layers, hit U to hide everything, and after that you have to just split the layer at this frame, holding Alt or right bracket key, just split that layer from that point, and after that our PayPal logo comes in the composition. So firstly, just a normal icon of the PayPal logo, downloaded from flaticons.com. You can download it from there, any icon you want. Tons of free icons are there on that website. Just at this frame, hit U to see the keyframes for the icon. So at the beginning, make a keyframe on scale and opacity. The scale is set to 10%, the opacity is set to 0%. Move some frame forward, set the scale to 45%, set the opacity to 100%. Select keyframes, hit F9 to apply easy ease. Just go to speed graph editor and make a graph, something like this, which speeds up at the fast at the beginning and gets slower in the end. So it will come like a match cut, something like this. Yeah, and after that you will get the ellipse fading effect. So at this frame, just go to tool section, grab the ellipse tool, make sure the fill is set to a solid color and the stroke is turned off or set to any 1 or 2 pixels maybe, and you can set it to 2 pixels. I think it's looking good. Just choose the color whatever you want. I have chosen the exactly PayPal logo palette. And after that, just select your ellipse layer, make a perfect ellipse according to this PayPal logo, just more bigger than that. Hit U to set the keyframes. So at this frame where our logo starts in the composition, make a keyframe on scale and opacity. For the ellipse, the scale set to 0, the opacity set to 100%. Move some frame forward and change the scale value to 150, the highest or the bigger than the PayPal logo, and set the opacity back to 0%. Select your keyframes, apply easy ease or F9 on your keyboard, and just make a graph something like this, which starts faster and gets slower in the end. And just like that, you will get a simple logo reveal like this. And after that, at this frame, move some frame forward for the PayPal logo icon, make a keyframe on position, move some frame forward, just change the X position to something like this. Make sure to turn on the title action safe to exactly match the alignment for everything. So move some frame forward, change the X position to something like this, a little bit left, move some frame forward just to give it a pause, and after that move some frame forward again and just get back to the center and gets fade out. After that, at this frame where our PayPal logo gets to left, select this text layer, hit U. So just the basic animation for the PayPal logo, just simple effect from the Presetify by Kuldeep MP4. The text comes something like this. So I have designed the same text from the Poppins font, something like this. The style is set to bold italic. The first 3 characters are exactly like this. The last 3 characters something like lighter blue. So exactly, you can download the exact logo from Google if you want to animate, but this works fine for me. And at this frame where our logo reveals something like this, just make a keyframe. Our text comes like this, and at this frame, something around 6 second 10 frame forward, make a keyframe on opacity for the PayPal logo with the value of 100%. Move something around 7 seconds forward, just set the opacity to 0%, and Y position will be something like this, and also the text animation will fade. Though select your keyframes for the first two animation, copy these keyframes and move at this frame, hit Ctrl V to paste the keyframes and select the last two keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant and just click on this type reverse keyframes. So your text animation, which is something like this at the beginning, it will end back something like this, and after that your logo will get to the center and it will fades out something like this. So you have to just offset the text animation before the logo fades out, so you will get the exact match cut for the second scene. Okay, yeah, that's how we made the scene 1 for the animation. I hope you understand. Just select these everything, hit U to hide everything, and let's preview our scene 1 first. Yeah, amazing. So yeah, that's how we made our scene 1. Okay, I have to be honest with you, I'm not a big creator, I don't have a huge following, I'm not running some massive business, I'm literally just starting out, and that's exactly why what I'm about to tell you actually matters. I found this tool called Super Profile and it's built for people like us. Let me start with the thing that sold me completely, the auto DM feature. So whenever someone comments on your Instagram post or types a specific keyword in your comments, it automatically gets a DM from you, a proper message, not some generic spam. You write it once, set it up, and it runs on its own. I posted something late at night, went to sleep, and woke up to people already getting replies from my account. That's not something big creators have exclusively anymore. We can do that too now. But Super Profile is more than just DMs. If you're looking for freelance work or your first clients, your Super Profile page works like a proper landing page. Clean, professional, looks like you've been doing this for years. Even if you just started last month, you can also sell digital products directly through it. Presets, templates, ebook, PDFs, whatever you create, no separate website needed, no complicated setup, and there's a full online store option if you want to go further with it. All of this honestly costs less than a cup of coffee every month, and right now your first month is just ₹99. Link is in the description. If you are small and just building, this one is made for where we are right now. Let's step to our next scene 2. So mark up the point at scene 3, hit N to mark up a point, and how we made the next scene 2, basically the shape layers, something like this. So at this frame, I have made the custom shapes become just made in After Effects from scratch. Basically the shape layers, just go to tool section, grab the rounded rectangle tool, make a frame, something like this. And after that, just double click in any precomp to open this precomp. And yeah, you can see how I made first the shape layer. The size is set to 1014 to 241. Exactly like this, with the linear gradient effect on it, not the solid color. You can choose the any color you like. I have used this lighter version with the darker. Just hit OK. Second, the profile shape. Just go to rounded rectangle tool and make a perfect square shape. Holding shift on your keyboard, make a perfect square for the profile icon, and just a random profile downloaded from flaticons.com. Third, our text layer, the video editor. Fourth, our page shape layer, just a random rounded rectangle tool, make a perfect shape. Next, our text layer, pay now. And lastly, just the icon for the asterisks. First, let's see the settings for this. So select the shape layer, expand the contents, expand the layer styles, and firstly I have applied an inner glow effect on this. Expand the inner glow. You can add it by right click, go to layer styles and just click on this inner glow. And for the properties, it's set to screen, the opacity set to 84. You can just tweak the settings according to your results or according to your like, whatever best you want the results. And the size is set to 68, the range is set to 40.5, and just the random color with a white color shade, and something like this you will get the effect, something like this. Hit U. Next, random profile shape, expand it, expand the layer styles. I have applied two effects. The first is the inner glow effect, like same, just random tweaking in the opacity and the settings of the size and range according to your preferences. And the next effect is the bevel and emboss to give it a depth. The style is set to inner bevel, the direction is set to up, the depth is set to something around 50%, the soften value is 16, almost full, the size is set to 5, and something around mess with angle section. And for the highlight color and the shadow color is set to black with the multiply mode, and the opacity of the highlights and shadow is set to something around 35%. You can just tweak the settings according to your preferences, whatever the best you want. And just hue. Next, the boy, just random. Set next the text layer. So for the animation, I have given a simple animation with the Presetify by Kuldeep before. Again, shout out to that boy. So yeah, our shape and text animation comes like this. Next, our page shape, just a random shape, and a simple effect called inaugural effect on this page shape. Just a random opacity with the 45%. A color will like little lighter blue version for this, and the size is set to 30. The range is set to 60%. And yeah, that's some random settings over here. And after that, just duplicate this shape and rename it as yellow click. When you will see the click animation, you can see the yellow click. So that's how we made this yellow click. Just set the fill color of gradient fill as these colors, like two the same colors, and the between is a lighter version for this, so you will get the yellowish version of this. And after that, next layer is our text layer. For the animation is this as simple as like Presetify plugin or script. Next, our asterisk layer, again the simple effect called bevel and emboss effect on this. So just the screen set to white, the highlight color, the shadow color is set to white with the screen mode turned on, and just mess with the highlight opacity and the shadow opacity according to your preferences. The depth is set to 371, and yeah, you will get the whole shape something like this. And after that, for the animation part of the yellow click, I will explain it afterwards. So before that, let's get back to main composition. So how our next scene starts. So first, I have made 3 compositions for each shape. Just duplicate it from the project panel, make a shape entirely from scratch, and just pre-comp it and name it whatever you like. And just in the project section, hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of that pre-comps. Just like this, I have made duplicate 2 times these pre-comps, and inside that, just double click to open that pre-comp and change whatever you like, the text, the icons, the PNG, the text, anything you like. Okay, and after that, just drag and drop these pre-comps in the main comp, and yeah, you will get the animation something like this. So just drag all the 3 pre-comps in the timeline in the main comp, and after that, just offset these pre-comp something, move some frame forward, and again just make a controller layer. For that, just go to layer, go to new, and just add a null object and rename it as controller. And after that, parent link this layers or pre-comp to this controller, and after that, add this frame, hit U to see the keyframes for the controller layer. And at this point, when our logo for the scene 1 fades out, let's select these first pre-comp, hit U to see the pre-comp keyframes at the beginning. For the scene 2, make a keyframe on the scale and opacity. At the beginning, set the scale value to 50% and set the opacity to 0%. Move some frame forward, a bit like 1 frame forward or 2 frame forward. Just set the scale value all above to 100% and set the opacity to 100%. And after that, just select these keyframes and apply a simple bounce effect on this. I have applied a simple bounce script on this. Just go to Windows section, and I have applied a simple script called bounce R script for this. So you can apply using the expression also. You can apply using the script also. Both works fine. Okay, so you will get the popping effect something like this. And for the amplitude, set to 25 in the effect controls for the bounce effect, so you will not get the as much punchy bounce, something like this. Yeah, and you will get the something fading effect, something like this. And after that, get to upwards, something like this. For the controller layer, move some frame forward, make a keyframe on position, and move 1 frame forward, and just set the Y position of this first shape a little bit upwards. And after that, just set the second pre-comp at this frame. Again, the same property as previous, scale and opacity with the value of 50% and the 0% opacity. It comes in the composition, something like this. And move some frame forward. Just again set the position keyframe to give it a pause from this little keyframe icon. Move 1 frame forward. Just set the second shape position, vertical position, to something at this frame. And after that, our next or third pre-comp enters into the scene. the scale and opacity animation. Again, for the third precomp also, just select your keyframes, apply the bounce effect, and you will get the results something like this. Yeah. So that's how the second scene enters into the precomp, and after that you will get the cursor clicking animation. So how we made this? So when our all scenes enters into the precomp, our cursor comes something like this. So before that, when add a cursor layer, so just hit U to hide everything. When our shapes comes into the composition, let's select the cursor layer, a normal PNG downloaded from flaticons.com. Hit U to see the keyframes. Firstly, just make a layer as 3D layer. Make a keyframe at the beginning for the Z rotation at the position, and set the position out of the composition, something around at this frame. Just move some frames forward and set the position for the cursor at this frame for the first clicking animation. Move some frame forward to give it a click pause by clicking on this little keyframe icons, and you have to color it as yellow. So before that, at this frame, when our second keyframes are applied, just get back to the precomps of the one of the shape, and at this frame, when your playhead is at this frame, just select the space shape layer. You can see, hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of that and rename it as yellow click. And for this, select the fill and change it to something like this color. And after that, hit U to see the keyframe for the opacity. Set the keyframe for the opacity at this frame with the value of 0% and move some frame forward. Set the opacity to 100%. Select this keyframe, apply easy ease and get back to it. And when the cursor comes at this frame, it automatically gets colored. And after that, for the cursor layer, move some frame forward, set the cursor position to the second frame. For the second shape, move some frame forward, again the same animation, get back to the second precomp, and again at this frame, make a keyframe, duplicate this layer, rename it as yellow click, change the color for this, and hit U to see the keyframe, and just make a keyframe on opacity from 0 to 100. So when your cursor reaches out to the second shape, it automatically gets colored, something like this. And the same as for the end, something like this. And after that, for the cursor layer, just the position gets out of the composition, something like this. Okay, so that's how the cursor animation works, something like this. So that's how our scenes 2 comes like this. And after that, just get back to the controller layer, hit U to see the keyframes. At this frame, when everything turns out to be revealed, the cursor gets out of the composition. Make a keyframe, some frame forward, make a keyframe on position and move some frame forward. Just drag the horizontal position for the controller layer left out of the composition. Select your keyframes, apply easy ease, go to the speed graph editor and make a graph something like this. So it gets slower in the starting, gets faster at the end. So you will get the snappy animation, something like this, and it switch up to third scene. You can see the third scene is something like this. So that's how we make the scene 2 in the composition. Hit U to hide everything and make sure to color all the layers separately to mark up a point, so you will never mess up in the layer section. And that's how we make this scene 1, scene 2. Let's preview both the scenes first. Yeah, that's how we make this. Let's step forward to next scene, like scene 3. Let's move the playhead to at this frame. Let's hit N2 on our shortcut keyboard key to mark up a point from in and out from scene 1 to scene 2. So how we made this scene 3. So at this frame, firstly our text layer, you can see the text. Let's talk about our 3D shape. I have downloaded it from Sketchfab. Just drag it and drop it in the composition, and after that animate it. So hit U to see the keyframes of this. So at the beginning where our scene 2 ends, make a keyframe on the position and Y rotation. the Y rotation set to 2, which is 360 degree, or maybe a complete 2 times rotation for the axis of this earth, and the position set to vertical position out of the composition at downwards, something like this, and move some frame forward. It gets out of the composition from down to the middle of the composition. Set the Y rotation to 0 degree, so it completes the 2 times rotation, something like this, and set the position of the vertical earth, something like this. Just select your keyframes, apply easy ease. A shortcut key for that is F9. Go to the speed graph editor and make a super fast graph which comes at fast at the beginning and gets slower at the end, and just like that you will get the scene like this. And after that, some text you can see. So for that, just add a text for this, random any text, and after that just a simple expression for this. For that, just on this text layer apply a simple effect called slider control effect. Just apply it on this text layer and rename it as counter. After that, expand the layer, or you can hit E twice on your keyboard to see the expression applied, or you can just go to text holding Alt key on your keyboard, or option if you're on a Mac, just click on this source text stopwatch and paste the expression. The expression will be given in the project file. Just paste the expression and you are done. And after that, you have to animate the value whatever you want. Select the layer firstly at the beginning, make a keyframe on slider control with the value of 0, move some frame forward where our earth model comes in the center of the composition. Just set as much as value you want. I have set at 400, so it comes at this end 400 million plus. And for the text, a simple parameter for the beginning, make a keyframe on the parameter as position and opacity, and make a keyframe on position and opacity with a value of opacity as 50%, and set the position of the Y position something like out of the composition at downwards. Move some frame forward where our earth model comes in the center. Set the vertical position of the text something around at this frame. Make sure to turn on the title action save for the perfect alignment, and set the opacity all the way up to 60%. And for the effects, expand the layer, expand the animator just like a position and opacity animator for the text animation. And for the layer style section, just a simple effect called inner glow effect. For the effect, the set blend mode is set to color burn, the opacity is set to 45%, the color type set to single color, and the gradient smoothness set to 100%, and something just tweak according to your the preferences, and you will get that effect on the text. Okay, hit U to hide everything. And lastly, just apply easy ease to your keyframes and just tweak the speed graph editor, something like this. Make a graph to make it like something like this, and after that some random icons for the user to show the how many users are there to use PayPal as a freelance and payment process. So just random some icons for this, download it from flaticons.com. And after that, the simple animation for these all the layers. So just duplicate as many icons you want and just place it to some random positions, something like this, and just make a keyframe on scale and opacity with the value at the beginning. Set the scale value to 10%, the opacity set to 0%, and after that select your keyframes, move some frame forward, something around 1 or 2 frame forward, set the scale value to 35, set the opacity to 100%, select the scale keyframes and apply the simple bounce expression or bounce effect on this, and set the amplitude to 25, and just like that apply the same effect and parameters to all the duplicated icons and you will get the effect. And after that, just a simple expression on these icons as wiggle. Hit E twice to see the expression. Just a wiggle of 1,5 to give it a depth and the realistic feel that the icons are moving, something like this. Okay, yeah, amazing. And just a random stroke to these icons to highlight them. Yeah, so that's how we made this. And after that, just select these icons layer and just offset them 1 or 2 frames afterwards to give it a offset animation, so they appear to some random positions, something like this. And after that it fades away. So for that, let's quickly hit U to hide everything. And on this earth layer, let's see the before and after. So the before version of this 3D model was like this. and after applying some gradient or effects, it is like this. So just go to layer section, go to new, and just apply an adjustment layer and rename it as effects. The first effect as like vibrance to give it a popping effect on these colors like green and blue. The 50% vibrance is almost best, and add a curve section, tweak the graph, or you can set the auto version to give it a automatic color, something like this. Okay, so that's how we make this scene 3 and the composition. Let's see how we made this fading effect. So at this frame, we'll just add an adjustment layer, go to layer again, go to new, and add an adjustment layer for this and rename it as exposure transition, and apply the exposure effect from the effect controls and set the exposure as 0, the offset as 0 at the beginning. The gamma correction is set to 5 and set the channels to master. And at this frame, let's hit U to see the keyframe. Make a keyframe on offset value with a value of 0. Move some frame forward. Set the offset value to something around 1.4700. So you will get the fading effect, something like this. Just select your keyframes, apply easy ease, and you will get the fading effect, something like this. So that's how we made scene 3. Let's move to our next scene as scene 4. So move the playhead at this frame, hit N, a shortcut key, to mark out point. And for the scene 4, just a random typography. So at this frame, just add a text. The text will be the secure way to pay. For the color, just go to effect controls and properties. For the font, I have used, as you can go with the Poppins as well font. Just I have set the text as Poppins. For the first text, the style is set to bold, and the last 3 words set the same, but the middle, the main version, the secure, it is set to italic, and the color is almost like the PayPal element. And for these colors like blue, the same as PayPal logo. Now for the animation part, it enters into the scene something like this. Just a random preset by Kuldeep M4 presetify script. So it enters into the scene after it fades. Yeah, so hit U to see the keyframes firstly. So it comes something like this, word by word, and after that make a keyframe on the source text, expand the layer, expand the text, and you will see the source text. Just make a keyframe on source text, move some frame forward, make a keyframe again to give it a pause, move some frame forward, and change these secure text to fastest, align it vertically and horizontally again, move some frame forward again, make a keyframe on this little keyframe icon to give it a pause, move some frame forward again, and change the fastest text to global, and you will get the change of the text or transition, something like this. So at this point, something around the 21 seconds forward, just make a keyframe on opacity with a value of 100%, move some frame forward and set the value of opacity to 0%, select the keyframes, apply easy ease, and it fades something like this. And when it fades, the second text as PayPal logo or text comes in the center. Select this PayPal logo, hit U. At this frame, make a keyframe for the PayPal text as position and opacity, and the opacity is set to 0% at the beginning. The position of the Y value is set to as 654. Move some frame forward, set the opacity to 100% and set the position and the center of the composition. Select these 2 keyframes, apply the speed graph editor, and just make a graph something like this, which starts faster and gets slower in the end. And after that, move forward to give it a pause for the position and move some frame forward again. Just set the horizontal position of the text a little bit left, something like this. And after that, our logo enters into the scene. So at this frame, when our pause keyframe will be added, add a logo for the PayPal PNG, hit U to see the keyframes. Make a keyframe on position and opacity for the logo layer. Set the opacity to 0%. Set the position for the X will be 618. Move some frame forward where our PayPal text gets to right position. Just set the position of the PayPal logo a little bit to the right and set the opacity to 100%. Select the keyframes, apply easy ease, and just make a graph exactly like before. The faster at the beginning and get slower in the end, and move again frame forward. Make a keyframe on position, and on this position the text layer and the logo layer. Move some frame forward, set the opacity keyframes for the pause, move to The last has something around 25 seconds. Set the opacity to back to 0% and set the PayPal text opacity back to 0%. Select your keyframes, apply easy ease, and you will get that text animation, something like this. Yeah, that's how we made every scene. Let's quickly hit U to hide everything, and after that just make sure to turn on the motion blur for all the layers except the adjustment layer, except the background layer, and except the 3D layers. Okay, just make sure everything is fine. Just tweak the keyframes. You are free to do anything with your project to make it more impressive. And lastly, just let's see the all scenes at once. Let's see the final playback. Yeah, and that's your SaaS-style PayPal UI animation complete, clean, and portfolio ready. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of editors out there. Recreate this and share your results on Instagram. Tag me at editing.snap. I personally repost the best ones. And if this tutorial helped you, like takes 2 seconds, but it means everything to the channel. See you in the next one.